You're listening to the Trance Messages from Spirit podcast. Hi, I'm Linda Pynaker. I'm a trance medium and author. Jen Jones, another trance medium, joined me again and shared a message she received through trance from a spirit who said that some spirits are limited in the ways they're able to share messages. You may be surprised when you hear what would help you to receive messages from them. We also had a conversation about some of the other ways you may help yourself to be more receptive to messages. Hi, Jen. Thanks for joining me again today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, yeah, I am too. I'd like to talk about some of the things we do to help ourselves be more receptive to intuitive messages. And one of the most helpful things that I do is meditation. Sometimes I find it difficult to quiet my mind enough to meditate, but I've found a number of ways to help myself to relax, and that usually works. And I just wanted to tell a story about something that happened one time when I was meditating. When I closed my eyes, all of a sudden I could see my entire group of spirit guides as a vision in my mind. And I thought, holy crow, this must be important if they're all here. And so I said to them, I said, "You've got an important message for me, don't you?" And they said, "Yes." And I said, "You've got a message for me for the book that I'm writing?" They said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, what is it?" And they said, "Build in periods of calm so messages may get through to you." I said, "Okay." And I said, "You want me to highlight that and bold it and center it in my book, Messages, Hope, and Healing, don't you?" And they said, "Yes. We also want you to share it with as many people as possible." So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, what do you do to help you to be more receptive to intuitive messages?
So I might be the worst person to ask, but there must be other people out there like me. So yeah, I'll meditate or I'll try to, staying grounded, being in nature. But I have attention deficit disorder,
Oh, I do
and
too.
so sometimes I don't know if I really have ADD or if that's a part of being a medium.
Hmm.
But meditation, if you expect me to do it more than 10 minutes, it's not going to happen. When I go about my day to day life, there's a million things going on in my head. So if my guides and people are trying to say anything, I wasn't listening. So I kind of one day I said to them, if you want me to pick up on stuff, you got to do something different here. And so for me, it was really working with the team. So there's one guy, and not in a mean way. She literally, it feels like someone's judo chopping my back. And
Oh, well, that makes it obvious, doesn't it?
yeah, so then I know it's her. And then sometimes I get yes or no in sign language, which I didn't know that's what it was. And it's like my vision's blocked and I see a black background and hands moving. And I had to Google
Oh,
what
cool.
that was because I was thinking, oh, do I do this? Do I do that? And not listening to anything. So
Hmm.
for me, it was kind of thinking outside of the box of saying, hey, like I'm not listening to you most of the time. And when I try to, it's very short and we need to come up with some different things to do. So I found for me, that was just easiest to find ways for them to break through all my noise in my head.
Well, it was a good idea for you to let them know what you wanted. I must admit that my spirit guides quite often bring me dragonflies or hummingbirds or butterflies or whatever, and they have them do something to get my attention. So I think, oh, that's unusual. I must be meant to notice, right? And I know one time I had my door open so my dog could go in and out, and a dragonfly came in and it flew up right to my eyes and said, "It's time to meditate." Turned around and went right back out the door again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, one of my spirit guides used to, have bumblebees circle around my head, and one time it was flying so close, it was moving the hair on my head, and I just said to Ethan, I said, "That's not funny." And he just said, "Then why are you
Yeah.
laughing?" Yeah. If I really have a hard time stilling my mind, though, I find that guided meditations really help because I have several recorded and I actually listen to my own guided meditations. But because it sort of takes you on a little journey by telling a
Yeah,
story, then I'll get messages.
like is bad.
Yeah, I did a bunch of live events on Facebook and it was funny because I would always listen to my guided meditations afterwards and I would get the message from the loved one spirit and the spirit guide and visit the past life. Just like someone else was doing it for me because I would channel it. So
Totally.
it wasn't
So like,
really,
yeah,
like I had already done it, right?
it's fun that you
Yeah.
went back and did it.
Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, you've got a message for us that we're going to listen to it. Um, So we'll now listen to the message that you received when you connected with the spirit through trance, and the spirit shared information about what you may do to help you to be more receptive to those who are limited in the ways they're able to share messages. So we'll listen to that now, okay?
Angel voices, soft whispers in the air. You can feel them. They're trickling down your souls. But interestingly, they're in the wind and they're hitting those who, unlike you, are not tapped in to their abilities, and they're sparking something within them to seek them out. And the people who are starting to hear these soft whispers of what I would call angel voices, they are the ones who need it the most. If you stand in the wind, you will be able to hear the others who come from where I come. For that is our strongest form of communication. There is power in the wind, in the storm, and there are different messages in the way the air flows, the soft summer breeze, the storm, the winds that create the monstrous waves of the deep. Pay attention to what you see and hear on the days where the wind is noticeable. For there will be days, for some reason, you stop and notice the air, and you may question, why am I stopping and thinking about the air or the wind? For you might be busy or on your way somewhere, but if you listen, there's going to be a direct purpose, tone, element, picture, message in that element for you from us that can only be communicated strongest at that point. For many out there, like me, they do not have their strongest ability of being able to come through you as I am doing now. For we want you to listen to the wind and pay more attention to the seasons and the different elements. For each of them have beings like us who have been desperately trying to seek your attention. And for we come through in different capacities, we are often easily missed and not heard. And you will start to feel this more once you start to pay attention to these glimpses of pausing and feelings that will occur out in nature. And this is the importance of leaving one's home. And in this time, we are being heard less than ever, for there are so many who will not leave their homes out of fear and concern for their well-being. However, the tide has shifted, and there is no need for grave concern to the level and degree as there was before. So we are waiting in the breeze, and there are others similar to our kind who are waiting for you outside.
Wow, I got chills when you were talking about the whispers and the messages and the whispers in the wind, like all down my back. Thanks for sharing such a wonderful and helpful trans message. I just really, really enjoyed that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've received messages listening to the babbling of a brook or a creek, but I've never thought of listening to the wind. Have you ever done that?
Not listen to it, but I like going out in windstorms and feeling that energy. Like I feel like it really boosts me and the
Oh,
power to it.
cool.
But to actually listen for messages,
Yeah.
that's new to me. But it's really interesting,
It
and
yeah, it's
I'm
an
excited.
idea that I don't think I ever would have thought about if you hadn't got that message through trance.
Yeah, to listen to messages. Yeah, that's new to me, but it's exciting. It's something everyone can do. Hey, it's windy out. I'm gonna go out and tap into that and see.
Y
Like,
Yeah, and that spirit was so clear that, that's the one way that some spirits can share messages. It sounds like it's the only way they can.
yeah, it felt like they were some sort of wind elemental or some sort of, not just a
Oh,
regular
yeah, that would
spirit
explain
being.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
would
that was
explain why.
normally or
And she said
speaking that.
"us" too, so it's interesting because she was able to do the trance, but she said that that wouldn't be something they could do, and yet she said "us" like it sounds like she also shares messages through the wind, so
Yeah, there's a group of them, that's for sure.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds great. I'm going to start spending time outdoors listening to the wind. I'd like to thank you again, Jen, for joining me today and sharing such a wonderful trance message. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. You'll see me outdoors also.
Great. And thanks everybody for listening. The next podcast will be available on Thursday, January 14th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. I would love for you to join me then. If you'd like to be notified about upcoming trance messages from Spirit Podcasts, please follow me. If you'd like more information about the classes or one-on-one trance training I provide, you may visit my website at Pynaker.com.